writes more inconsistent and incoherent characters than those featured in this fictitious farce. Let's start with John Halo, a man who I cannot stand. And I'm not just saying that because I lost my John Halo is a vicious soldier. The very stoic demeanor cultivated through decades of rigorous training and conditioning is what I would have said if I were in the mood to lie. In actuality, John Halo is quite far from stoic, or reserved, or methodical, or heroic, or any other attribute with which he is often described by other characters. No, John Halo is what one might call an emotionally turbulent and solipsistic wreck, the consequences of which often prove dire to those around him. But simply, John Halo's characteristics are inconsistent with who we are told he is and the life we are told he has lived. He is incongruent. Fundamentally, John Halo is a product of the Spartan program, which saw children abducted from their homes and subjected to intensive military training, followed by a grueling augmentation process which made them much stronger than the average person. In adulthood, the Spartans were deployed on several combat missions against both insurgents and the Covenant, presumably without much pause. They have no familial connections nor any social connections beyond those which they share with their fellow soldiers, and their every activity is conducted in service of improving their combat effectiveness. In a competently written story, these experiences would inform how John Halo navigates the world. But such history exists in complete deference to plot devices which ultimately determine who John Halo is. Sometimes. The first plot device is an emotion-suppressing pellet which John Halo and the other Spartans were implanted with during the program. These pellets essentially dull the mind, stripping the Spartans of their emotions but enabling them to think clearly in the heat of battle. The second plot device is the Keystone, which unlocks John Halo's incredibly rare atavistic connection to Halo, along with his repressed childhood memories. The third plot device is Cortana, an artificial intelligence construct implanted in John Halo's brain to enhance his combat effectiveness and eventually supplants his consciousness. The emotion-suppressing pellet is the first of these plot devices to be introduced and the first to be completely removed from play. In episode 1, the pellets are shown to be so effective that John Halo doesn't even appear capable of feeling or expressing empathy. Additionally, we learn that the Spartans never disobey orders while under their influence, such that minor deviations from procedure are noteworthy.
I'll fly with you.
No, go with the others.
That's not procedure.
John Halo is basically a robot when introduced to the viewer. 2 episodes later, having had some of his childhood memories unlocked by the Keystone, John Halo chooses to secretly remove his pellets. He does this despite being subject to the influence of the pellets and in defiance of his conditioning and Spartan regulations. He even performs the procedure himself by jamming a blade into his spine and twisting it. Oh, my back! Bear in mind that John Halo didn't even know where the pellet was located or how to remove it before Cortana told him. I guess he was just planning on stabbing his spine in random places until he found it. John Halo emerges from this impromptu surgical operation with unsuppressed emotions and functioning legs. But unbeknownst to him, Spartan Kai saw the whole thing.
Is
The
that a
following
shot?
episode,
Here,
she too
to
removed
see
her
light.
pellets, a
However,
decision which raises many questions about the extent of the pellet's influence on an individual's mind. She had been bestowed with her childhood memories by an ancient alien artifact. Kai removed her pellets because she felt
there,
like it, which should be impossible.
lest this that should be.
The same goes for Sora, who defected from the Spartan program as a teenager while under the influence of this pellet. How he knew what it says. He was altering his mind, and he chose to escape from the UNSC and remove his pellets so that he could forge his own life and experience the universe as other humans.
It's like
In the wake of these revelations emerges a pertinent question which the writers of this show don't care to address. What does it say about not only the effectiveness of the pellets, but the overall training and conditioning of the Spartans, that more than one of them chose to remove said pellets and fundamentally alter their personalities and priorities, potentially at the cost of their own combat effectiveness? Understand that John Halo's demeanor instantly changes after he removes his pellets. For the first time in forever, he leaves UNSC Fleetcom and meanders around Reach City. He meanders around Reach City, on planet Reach, receiving everything in a new light. He gazes up at the night sky, mesmerized by its beauty, and he absorbs the underlying meaning of the music that meets his ears. He also becomes incredibly irrational, as in drinking expired milk because you believe it will imbue you with psychic powers. His thinking skills plummet in and he becomes very prone to violent emotional outbursts.
I did want to help you, sir. I don't believe you.
That is, ignoring his prior streak of erratic behavior and violent emotional outbursts, all of which occurred while he was under the influence of the pellets. In episode 1, he was recognized as a and defected from the UNSC while pellets. In episode 2, he grabs dice, and hilarious in his face.
Oh. Oh, that's easy.
You're a coward who ran away when things got hard. It must be said that these events occurred after his first interaction with the Keystone on Magic. Why would that matter? Why would the effects of the Keystone override or mitigate the effects of the pellets? Surely if the pellets work as advertised, his response to the memories of Keystone unlocked. I know Arthur C. Clarke's Third War denotes that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, but the Keystone isn't magical, right? Whatever it's doing to John Halo is very much scientifically discernible and not preternatural. But the Keystone must be delivering John Halo's great chemistry in much the same way the pellets does. In which case, why is that any better from John Halo? By the way, serve the interests of powers beyond himself. You'd think such thoughts would inevitably emerge within the confines of his thick skull, but they don't, because he doesn't. However, think for 1 fucking second. What the fuck are you? John Halo is far more distrusting of the intentions of Cortana, who was implanted in his brain after he returned to the UNSC at the end of episode 2. Despite being created by Halsey, a woman whom at this point he trusts completely, John Halo is mostly adversarial towards Cortana, as her capacity to control his mind is a very acute concern of his, and rightly so. And yet, very dark influence that ancient alien artifacts is having on his mind is of absolutely no concern to him. Feelings he barely understands, and mere days prior is not remotely valid. You may be wondering where I'm going with all of this. And stop!
Fuck.
Who the fuck is John Halo? Seriously, who is he? Is he the product of his history, a computer chip, or an ancient alien construct? How does he think and operate? What does he value? And from where are these values derived? Having viewed Season 1 from beginning to end, the only thing I know for sure is that John Halo is an absolute fool, devoid of critical thinking skills or the capacity to achieve any of his goals, despite his unique history and reported competence. On that note, what was the point of John Halo's rigorous training and conditioning if he achieved nothing in the way of cultivating a man with the temperament of a proficient soldier, as we are consistently told that he is?
Trust you. The people rely on you.
If we as viewers are to believe that all of his shrewdness and tactical prowess is the product of a pellet in his spine, then surely John Halo would be utterly devoid of a sense of self upon removing it. Also, wouldn't it be more likely that John Halo's emotions would slowly trickle back rather than anything through? In examining John Halo's life, much of his past, especially his life as a soldier embroiled in the human covenant. Consequently, this story fails to even ask interesting questions which the premise of the show naturally invites. What does John Halo think about the Covenant or the UNSC? Where does his investment in humanity come from if he even has any for any of the decisions he made?
I don't like that at all.
Is there a small part of him which believes that Spartan program, for as unethical as it was, may have produced great good. There is no doubt that John Halo is upset about what happened to him, but the shocking revelation is somewhat undercut by what he really believes to be his history. Before discovering that he was secretly abducted from his family and placed into the Spartan program, John Halo earnestly believed that he, as a recently orphaned child, chose to become a soldier and was allowed to do so by the UNSC. John Halo trusted decades while unhelping him to become a soldier.
Are you kidding me?
John Halo is a horrendously immoral idiot. John Halo's resentment towards Halsey and the UNSC for what they did to him is not only undercut by this seemingly unrecognized unethical belief, but also manifests in bizarre ways. For instance, the focus of the narrative persistently falls on the life which was stolen from John Halo, rather than the life he actually lived. He displays